Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm redoing yet another one of my old videos from about 7 years ago to go into my herb playlist, which I'll be linking to down below. And today it's going to be about red clover. Now, generally speaking, most of the benefits I'm going to be speaking of apply to most clovers, but today I'm focusing most specifically on red clover. So right here you can see I have one of my many jars of dried red clover that grows wild in my garden. I was really excited the day that it first appeared in my garden. In fact, I think that was when I did my first, on its own. And I think that was when I did the first video on this. So today it's about just kind of expanding on that and trying to cover a few more details about the benefits. So if you didn't know, clover of any kind is in the legume family, which means it's related to beans and peas, which also means it can make a great cover crop for your garden. So I do not mind red clover growing wild in my garden. I've never had an issue with a red clover in particular trying to overtake things the way white clover can do. And so another reason why I prefer it over white clover. The nutrients / active compounds you're going to find in red clover are vitamins B1, B3, C, calcium, chromium, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, and then you have your flavonoids and more that give it its many great benefits. So let's talk about those benefits right now. So it's very helpful for women's reproductive health. It can be very good for helping with menopause and the symptoms of menopause, which means it should also be good for helping with symptoms of PMS. And so this includes hot flashes, night sweats, anxiety, depression, and more. And it can be one that, if you want to make a tea out of it, which is what I'd highly recommend in this case, consider mixing it with an herb such as pineapple weed, which has a great flavor and is also very beneficial to women's health. It's also good for your general bone health and preventing osteoporosis. It's great for your skin and hair health, which is why it's one of the herbs I include in my infused oil that I use to make my homemade skin cream. It's very good for heart health. It is a natural diuretic. It may help lower the risk of certain cancers, in particular breast cancer and prostate cancer. I just kind of touched on skin and hair health, but let me give a little more details about the skin health. So it's good for collagen production, promoting elasticity, reducing signs of aging, but also for other skin issues, wound healing, burns, inflammation, and more. It's very good for the respiratory system. It can help fight infections, colds, flus, whooping cough, and asthma, and can be helpful at loosening phlegm. It's good for general prostate health. So again, not only is it good for women's reproductive health, it's good for men's reproductive health. It helps to balance cholesterol levels, is good for your overall brain health, and can prevent Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. And we did mention earlier about it helping with anxiety and depression. Usually any herb is going to help with any one of those can be good for all of those. You'll kind of find that's pretty common. It boosts circulation and can lower chronic hypertension. It helps to prevent just infections in general. It purifies the blood and detoxifies the body and is a natural antifungal. So I want to come back and talk a little bit about the nutrients. I was going to say this earlier, that one thing that is really important to know if you don't know this already, if you're needing calcium to help with your bones or whatever, it's not recommended to take calcium supplements. That can actually be detrimental to your health, especially if you're taking them by themselves. Calcium needs to be combined with magnesium and or potassium. And here's the great thing about these three minerals is most commonly when you're looking at natural sources for those, all three of those, in most cases, all three of those are found together anyway, the way they were intended to be taken. It's just like selenium. If you take a selenium supplement, it's too easy to take too much. But if you're taking selenium in its natural form, like eggs and Brazil nuts, there's really no concern of overdoing it, even though they try to scare you away from the natural sources. what you should be avoiding is the unnatural sources, especially if they're synthesized. But taking them in the combination where they're properly balanced in your foods, herbs, and more, that's where you're going to get the best out of those types of nutrients. Now let's talk a little bit about ways to use it. I did mention teas is one great way. I also mentioned using it in infused oils. So the main thing I actually use red clover for is using it in my infused oil, because I go through a lot of it, because not only do I use the skin cream for myself, and I've been using it for quite a number of years now, best skin cream ever, I also do sell it. So if you're interested in learning more about that and would like to try some, please email me at raincountryhomestead@gmail.com. I will send out, as I always do, because it's the easiest way to go, I send you out the full product list, which includes how to order and the very limited methods of payment that I offer. And anyway, so yes, I also have a video on how to make the skin cream yourself, and also a separate video on the oil infusion that I use in the skin cream. So I'll link to both of those videos down below, the most current ones I have out. And then I mentioned teas, so you can have it by itself. You can combine it with other herbs that will be helpful for whatever it is that you're looking at. You know, I mentioned, you know, for menopausal related symptoms, and this again applies to PMS, combining it with things such as pineapple weed and even raspberry leaves can be great options. Just like any herb, you can choose to tincture it or encapsulate it. You can even purchase pre-made capsules. Now, it is the flower that mostly we're talking about, but the leaves are useful too. You can use the leaves as a green in anything, whether it be a salad or a stir fry or whatever. But as you can see, looking closely, these are actually from 2022. I have a lot of red clover put up. You can see I add the leaves in there. So when I pick the flower, there's always that cluster of leaves that's right at the base of the flower. I take the whole thing because there's benefits and nutrients in the leaves too. But typically, mostly the part that's focused on is the flower when we're talking about red clover and its benefits. Now, just like with any herb, there's always going to be things that you need to consider. Red clover, generally speaking, is a very safe herb. But anything not used in moderation, or when you're taking into consideration things like allergies or medications you're already on, these are the things you got to look out for. So it's always important to understand these things, look into it for yourself. And if you're on any kind of medication, especially anything that is for things that those particular herbs are good for, such as hypertension, high cholesterol, and so on, sometimes taking the herb in medicinal doses in conjunction with the medication can have negative effects, while sometimes it can almost be more like an overdose, like you're taking double your medication. Other times it's simply the reason they say don't take them together is because, and it's just going to depend on the herb and the medication, is because the herb reduces the effectiveness of the medication because the herb is working. So it's kind of funny how they'll word things. You got to pay attention to the wording. But regardless, no matter what I say or anyone else says, if you're on medication or you have specific allergies, or if you're giving this to a child, always make sure you double check the proper amounts and if it's safe for you, that person that you're wanting to give it to. And so I did a video several years ago about how to do your own research, because everybody needs to tailor that research according to their own personal needs. The medications they are on, the allergies they have, the age of the person, and so on. So I'm going to link to that video down below as well, because some people, to me, it's pretty easy to look things up because I've been doing it for so long. But unless you understand how to use the internet and books and stuff, it can be really confusing knowing where to start, which is why I put that video together, and to help you learn how to tailor your searches when you're online so that you can get the answers you're looking for. So I hope you found this video helpful, and also don't forget to check out my full playlist that I'll be putting in the description box down below, along with those other videos that I'll be linking to. by clicking on either more or show more somewhere down here below the video screen. If you're on Rumble, a lot of times you're going to see an ad first right below the video screen. Then you'll see more in there somewhere or show more. That's what you're going to click on to open the description box to find all the links and other information, including, by the way, I almost forgot to say I was going to include a link to an article by Dr. Axe about red clover. Now, I look at many different articles when I'm compiling information, even looking on the NIH and more. But one of my favorite places to go to and to link back to because of its ease of reading through is Dr. Axe's page, because I like the way he lays it out. I think it just makes it easy for everyone to be able to go in there and read about that. And then if you want to do more research, that's just a really great place to start. And that way you can also have the written information about these herbs. Anyway, any thoughts, ideas? If you've ever used red clover for anything, please share those testimonies with us in the comments down below. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.